welcome to today's event, our workshop on change fatigue, brought to you by the Center for Women's Leadership. We are very excited to have with us today Marla Gadet. She is the founder and CEO of Mentoring Moments. Marla earned an Associates of Applied Science degree from Wayne County Community College in Detroit, Michigan, in Human Services, where she studied early childhood education and development. She later earned her bachelor's degree at the University of Michigan, where she took on a threefold concentration in human services, studying psychology, sociology, and anthropology. Marla then went on to complete her master's degree in counseling from Central Michigan University, and she's now pursuing her passion of studying and working with people on a global level by pursuing her doctorate degree in global leadership through Indiana Tech in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Through the years, Marla has become a sought-after clinician in working with children and families referred through the juvenile justice system and Department of Child Services. She specializes in care for those diagnosed with chronic mental illness and ADHD, and offers career counseling and support to women in need of guidance and services in those from disadvantaged situations such as poverty. Marla is absolutely amazing, and it is my pleasure and my honor to turn things over to her.
Thank you so much, Brandy. I appreciate that introduction. Thank you, everyone, for being here today. It is awesome to be in your presence. Give yourselves a hand. It's a Wednesday afternoon, and we're in a webinar, right? So I want to just get started by adding to that introduction that over the last 2 years, I have taken on some diversity, equity, and inclusion thoughts and ideas and training. And I've been working in that field for the last couple of years, adding to the mental health and the counseling, doing a lot of work more with corporations and organizations as decrease work with individuals. So that's a little bit extra. I told Brandy that's an old bio, but it is what it is. So thank you, everybody, for coming. I appreciate it. And I like when we do Zoom because I can see people. So I appreciate that. I want to know, I want you all to start. We're going to go. Today is change fatigue, mental health, and leadership. How does all of that work together? What are each of these things, and how do we blend them all? And so while people are still coming in, I want you to put in the chat one word, if you can do it in one word, that described your 2020. Just one word that described your 2020. Yes, I see this. Stressful and chaos and hectic, uncertain, exhausting. Yes. Caregiver. Sad. Just one word. Throw it out there. It's enough of us to really come up with a good whirlpool. Depleted. That's good. Yeah. Amazing. Yes. I love it. Unmotivating. Lots of different things. And when you do this, the unknown, right? How are we functioning when we don't even know what to do from one day to the next? The unknown definitely could cause us to have some issues with how we're planning day to day. Oh, normally we have these tight schedules, right? Get it all jammed in. And then you're told, no, go sit down. Oh, no, we'll tell you what to do when we find out what to do. So that uncertainty is there, right? If you can, next, I'd like you to just think of one word that how you felt in 2020, if you think about it, emotionally. Were you drained? Yes. Overwhelmed, hopeless, worried, tired, all things that affect us, anxious, concerned, depressed, that emotional stuff that causes all of these feelings, and then how we feel emotionally that affects us in our body, right? That it affects us so much with stomach aches, heart palpitations, back aches, headaches, sweaty palms, severe exhaustion, overeating, undereating. I heard someone say, I have 30 COVID pounds. And then I heard someone say, I lost 20 COVID pounds. It, depending on the mental state, we were losing weight, not losing weight. All of these things affecting us, all of this change after change after change, causing fatigue, right? This whole concept of change fatigue. What is that? So I'm going to go into this presentation. Thank you for sharing. And if you look at that chat, you can see that we're all pretty much sharing the same things. None of us shared zero. None of us were completely numb. We all had some type of feeling or emotion associated with the year 2020. And I've even said that the year 2020 taught a lot of people that there's no crises, there's only opportunity, right? And that depends on our frame of mind and thought processes. But so many opportunities came out of the year 2020. And it wasn't that we didn't acknowledge or even sometimes connect with the negativity that we experienced. We do acknowledge that. But being able to say, how can we make an opportunity out of this, is where some people found hope, which is where some businesses were started. Some people increased businesses. There's all types of things that, came out of that. So let's move on. I do want you to know that Dr. Walker is watching the chat. So if questions come up as things come up, just put them out there in the chat, because we'll probably take a break in between here where I can answer a few questions before we get to the end. Is that all right with everybody? Yes, yes. Throw your little hand signals up there if you need to. The little reaction. All right, all right. Tracy and Ashley say it's okay, so it's okay. Let's get to moving here. We're going to share a screen. All right. And hoping everyone can see. So the year 2020 brought about a lot of different things for us. So these are words that came up from the year 2020, and a lot of them are things that you put out already: distress, change, anxiety, depression, fear, crises, COVID-19, unemployment, uncertainty, death, family dinners, opportunity, self-employment, a new way. Isn't it true that we have learned a new way? A new way to do what? Many things. This being one. We didn't have to come up on here and say, yeah, everybody meet in wherever Dr. Walker is or the school and say, we're going to, pay $200 to come hear a conference. And then we got to pay to get there. And then we got to pay for hotel and food and all of that. We just learned a new way. And that new way saved us quite a bit in our time and our finances, in our abilities. So a new way. Think about a new way in your own home, how you had to do things, how you had to change things. And not all of it, I'm sure, was negative. Think of some positive ways as well. What was the new way that I had to tackle employment? For those of us who are leaders in employment, what did I have to do differently? What is it that I learned that I maybe should have known, right? in this whole thought process of 2020. Oh, if I had known X, Y, and Z, it would have been easier. So now I can capitalize on X, Y, and Z and put it together and make a presentation and put it out there for people so that when the next crisis comes up, they have a new way. Okay. So I want to talk about, let's get right into change fatigue. What is it? What is change fatigue? Oh my goodness. Organizational change fatigue, general sense of apathy or passive resignation towards organizational changes by individuals or teams. Organizational change efforts are all too often unfocused, uninspired, and unsuccessful. This is something that's startling to me, that research shows 70% of transformation efforts fail, often caused by change fatigue. So I'm going to stop this share because I have the wrong presentation up. Hold on. And did I put the wrong one up again? I hope not. Nope, doesn't look like it. Okay, I'm sorry about that, guys. So when we talk about change fatigue, and then you're saying that 70% of transformation efforts fail, often caused by change fatigue. So then I ask, where are my crises and risk managers who are not considering this concept, who are not considering the fact that change fatigue is real and 70% of efforts are failing because we're not considering it? So it's very important to know what it is, what it's about, how it affects us. And I want to definitely let you know, I'm talking about in your leadership roles, in your businesses or academics, wherever you lead, but also in your home. Change fatigue drastically affected our home lives as well. So we're going to be doing like a parallel conversation here today. Okay. So change fatigue causes a few different things. So I want you to read this slide with me. Change fatigue causes disengagement, burnout, increased signs of stress, confusion, complaints rise, and every day it's met with cynicism. So change fatigue is, oh, yeah, we're going to do this on team A on Monday. And then about 2 weeks later, you change it. And so team A, once they get into their groove, they're saying, oh, okay, yeah, got it. Then the supervisor says, oh, well, I had something different. So now we're going to do this. And they're like, okay, wait, hold on. Give us 5 seconds. All right, we got it. We're on it. Then maybe 6 weeks later, oh, no, that's really not going to work. What the boss really needs is this. So, okay. And by the time we've gone through a cycle, a year work cycle, we've had 7 changes and people are not responding. Your team is disengaged. When you speak, you can see the want expression in their eyes because they don't trust you. They don't trust your leadership because you're just going to change what you said anyway. So they're disengaged. They're apathetic. They're like, yeah, okay, whatever. We'll do it today. And then tomorrow it'll be something else. Have you all heard that? Have you heard that before? Or you'll have your employees just burned out. They don't have any energy. They show up to work, but don't really do anything. They're, whatever, because they have given so much energy and so much time and effort to do a good job, all to have it changed. Just changed. You'll see increased signs of stress, The anxiety will rise up. People will get short-tempered. There's lack of concentration. I don't want to get involved in this assignment because all I know is it's going to change. And that all leads to poor work relations. And then sometimes there's confusion. People are running around like chickens with their heads cut off, right? Oh my God, I don't know what to do. I can't, productivity will actually fail. It'll fail. It'll get lower because people don't really know what to do. They get dissatisfied with their workplace. And they're like, I'm so confused. I'm just going to do what I think I should do and I'm going home. Anybody seen any of that? Oh, and then of course you're going to get the complainers. And even those who weren't complainers now are complaining. And the complainers become more vocal. Now you hear it. It's all over the office. It's in the email tones. It's all over. And people are just not happy. They're complaining because they're confused and they're stressed out and they're disengaged. And then every day is met with cynicism. Perhaps this is the worst aspect of change fatigue. Every new day and every new task is met with cynicism and resignation. Phrases such as, don't worry, it'll change all again tomorrow. Oh, here we go again, becomes the common mantras. Have you had times like that where you've worked in environments and it just changed? You started with this corporation because they had this great mission and they were releasing this fantastic project. And as a leader, you're like, yes, I am ready for the task. And then it changes. The whole premise of why you took the job is gone. It's done. It's something different. And you say, well, I still like this company and I need to work. And then you get re-engaged in this next assignment. And the next quarter, the numbers don't look right. And so they just change it. What happened with 2020? Everything changed. Our way of living changed. We couldn't even just go to the store and buy toilet paper. It all changed. And then quickly people became burned out and there were signs of stress and confusion. Well, do I wear a mask? Do I not wear a mask? Do I go outside? Do I not go outside? Well, the news said this and now the paper said that. And well, hold on, work is saying work from home. Well, I can't work from home. I got kids that are, working from school from home and I can't do all of this. It's too much change. And we become fatigued and literally confused. So what I want you to do is we're going to have a breakout session. And I want you to work with your breakout group. And I want you for the next just 10 minutes to talk about any of those signs of change fatigue that you've had and that you've experienced during 2020, even through 2021, because we're just 8 months into it. We think we're at the end and yet it's changing. So I don't know who's doing the breakout piece, but if you can start with that, collectively speak with your group and then find out oh my God, I had all of these symptoms. I didn't know what that was. This was change fatigue. This is what I didn't know I was going through. Okay, let's go.
Thank you for being here, everyone. You should have received a pop-up message that said join breakout room. Just checking in with Kathleen, Penny, Jacinda, and Joan to make sure you can see that pop up, or let me know if I can help with anything. Hi, Wendy. It looks like you are just joining us. We are currently in some breakout sessions. Would you like me to move you into a breakout room? I cannot hear you or see you if you can see me or hear me.
So we're coming all back. We're coming all back. Okay. In viewing and speaking with your group, having those times to share. Let me see here how I want to do this. Okay. We're all coming back.
We have 8 more seconds, Marla, before everybody will be back in the room.
Okay, great.
All right, we are back.
Thank you. So having now a few moments to share with your group, right? What we discovered in our group is that a lot of us experience the same things. It may be different, but it was confusion. It was disengagement, right? So we're not out here like, oh, am I the only person feeling this way? Am I the only person that's having this struggle? I'm just gonna call a name and say, Jennifer Vogel, in your group, you can come off mute. Did you feel that there was a consensus that people did feel sort of the same things?
Hi. Yes, I would say so. We talked a lot about having to, for some people to go from working someplace else to now working from home, not really wanting to do that. That's a big change. And then at the same time having your kids there with you, and just how many changes had to be made and accommodations for your kids to be doing online school with you while you're also trying to work in this new environment. And even with the school, things would change, week to week, sometimes day to day, kids can come back to campus. Oh, wait, no, they can't. One day a week, half day, this day, mask, no mask, just constant change, just kind of like a wind blowing in the wind with all the things that are changing all at the same time, and that everybody has been impacted to one degree or another by the pandemic.
Yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot. So that confusion, should I do this? Should I not do this? Should I do this? What's going on? One more person, Harold Griffin. Talk a little bit about your group discussion. Were there specifics of the confusion or disengagement or stress that your group noticed that they shared in common? Oh, okay, Harold. Let's that same question then for I can't see everybody. Let's see, Kara Metz. Okay, so we'll just keep moving. I want to go back to here. Okay. What about Tracy? Get one more perspective. Tracy Mueller.
Yeah, I think we all had the same level of stress. Our stressors might have been a little bit different. I had a lot of change I put in the chat with a lot of upper management change in my organization, in addition to then going to a remote situation. And then, another in our group, Jenny, she had to suddenly shift to having her kids at home going to school and having to deal with that. And her workload had increased somewhat too. And there were some other opportunities that affected her as well. But we all were trying to shift and change as these different changes approached us. And we're all pretty much stressed out about the same way, just in a couple different things.
Yeah. And so sometimes, thank you, Tracy, it's like, what is going on? I feel like this. I feel like this. So we got to take opportunity to say now, oh, this is Change fatigue. Woo! This is what this is. I'm not, having a mental health breakdown, or maybe am I? So let's take a little bit of time to talk about change fatigue and mental health. So mental health is a state of well-being in which every individual realizes his or her own potential, can cope with normal stresses of life, and can work productively and fruitfully. And it is not merely the absence of disease or infirmity. This was the 2019 definition of mental health from the World Health Organization. So go back to, we're in good mental health when we can cope with normal stresses of life, and whatever your normal is, right? Some people eat dinner at 7 and some people eat it at 4. If you're eating at 4 and you have to eat at 7, that may not be normal, and that may make you a little bit hangry. But we're talking about typical, just normal everyday stresses that we can get through. There was nothing normal about COVID-19. There was nothing normal about being told, don't leave your home, at least in our lifetime, right? There was nothing normal about watching George Floyd die on a video camera in front of the whole world. There was nothing normal about watching cities burn. There was nothing normal about being a corporate leader now having to turn to a school teacher, everyday school teacher, not just helping with homework, every day. There was nothing normal about watching the news and seeing people in hazmat suits carrying out bodies to a cooler of more bodies. See, there was nothing normal that was going on in 2020. We went from physical health conditions to racial and injustice and rioting and fear in so many ways. We went to being afraid that we might run out of toilet paper. There was nothing normal about 2020. So were we in good mental health, any of us? We're talking about change fatigue. Oh, I had change fatigue. Okay. But how do those symptoms mimic, or I say even be the catalyst or the antecedent to mental health problems? There was nothing normal about a 40% increase in mental health hospitalizations in 2020. Nothing normal about young children hanging themselves and dying by suicide because they couldn't go to school and they couldn't get out of the house and they couldn't have interaction. There's nothing normal about the fear that gripped our hearts at the very thought of, I'm an essential worker and I got to go out here no matter what. Or being told you're not essential and losing your job. That's not normal. So mental health is this definition. Were we really healthy? Are we still? So one form of mental illness that affects our mental health is depression. Depression is a common and serious medical illness that causes feelings of sadness and or loss of interest in activities once enjoyed. Depression symptoms can vary from mild to severe, and it can include feeling sad, having a depressed mood, loss of interest or pleasure in activities once enjoyed, changes in appetites, trouble sleeping or sleeping too much, loss of energy. What is that? Increased fatigue, increase in purposeless physical activity. That just means when you fidget and you move and you do things with your body that's physical, tap, tap, scratch, scratch, pick, pick, and it's no purpose to it. Difficulty thinking, concentrating, or making decisions, thoughts of death or suicide, feeling worthless or guilty. Aren't some of these things the same criteria for change fatigue? So did I have change fatigue and it pushed me into depression? I don't know. Because if we couldn't get out to get a mental health diagnosis or even talk to someone, we maybe didn't get the mental health treatment that we needed. It says difficulty concentrating. Well, that's confusion. That's one of those change fatigue symptoms. Talks in here about loss of interest. That's that disengagement. Whatever. The boss is going to change it anyway. So maybe some of us did have some symptoms of depression, if not even diagnosable depression, during this whole symptom of change. Think about you as leaders in your home, in your work, wherever, about the attitude or disposition of people whom you've worked with. You know, someone in my group said they had people who, you know, had breakdowns or that were not normal behavior. So think about that. Maybe somebody was actually really going through depression. Anxiety. Anxiety actually is a normal reaction to stress. It can help you. It can make you alert to danger. It can help you prepare and pay attention. Sometimes we're saying we're anxious and we got this anxiety because we need to study for a test. Or, you know, like me, we need to write a paper. We need to get something done. And it's like, oh, you got to get moving. That's actually a good stress. And it's a good form of stress called Eurostress, EUROSTRESS. It's actually good for you. It's a little bit of extra that kicks you into gear and says, oh, pay attention. Didn't you see that tree about to fall over there? You know, and you get a little heart race and you feel like, oh, that could, you know, hurt me. So, hello? Somebody's off mute. So there is actually a little bit of good kind of stress. But then we can talk about anxiety referring to anticipation of a future concern and is more associated with muscle tension and avoidance behavior. Avoidance, disengagement. Anxiety disorders can cause people try to avoid situations that trigger or worsen their symptoms. Job performance, school, work, and personal relationships can be affected. How many of us had a hard time last year with the changes with our work? It was changing. Maybe our performance went down or our team performance went down, right? Maybe some of us had to step up and do more as the leader because our group was getting the low productivity that's also talked about in change fatigue. Our personal relationships, many people getting divorced, many people upset about politics and disengaging from their families, change fatigue, causing what appears to be maybe anxiety, possibly. In general, for a person to be diagnosed with an anxiety disorder, the fear or anxiety must be out of proportion to the situation or age inappropriate. It must hinder your ability to function normally. Many people had anxiety during all of these changes. They just couldn't function normally. Should I go to the store? Should I not go? Oh, I just won't go at all. Right? I don't know. I can't make a decision. Confusion, these type of things. So right now, if anybody has any questions at this point, put it in the chat. Dr. Jenny Walker, are there any questions before we go on?
No, I don't see any right now, Marla.
Okay, great. So I want you all to make sure that everyone's able to see this comparison to change fatigue being a corporate type thing that's talked about, oh, get your risk team together. If you do this, you're going to have all of this change. And we want to make sure that your team has tools to handle that. Hey, we even want to make sure that they don't have to go through all this change. Let's get it together on the front end because we want our people to succeed. We don't want to be the 70% that makes an initiative and then it fails. But seeing how that's a corporate thing, but look at how it affects us and lines up almost parallel with our physical mental health. So think about that. All of these things that we take sometimes for work, we were now experiencing it in our own mental health. Someone put, all right. Thank you, Michelle. I appreciate that. That's encouraging. So now we just want to talk about a couple of tools. We need tools like, okay, Marla, yeah, it's change fatigue. We can get some mental health issues from that. What do we do? Right? Tools for overcoming. So 7 strategies to overcome change fatigue and mental health symptoms. Because now we see that they're kind of parallel, right? They're just using a corporate word and a personal word. Build change resiliency. So what does resiliency mean? The ability to bounce back. You get knocked down, you might even be down a minute, but you can get back up. You're back in the fight. That's resiliency, the ability to bounce back. How do I build change resiliency? The same way I build resiliency in my personal life. I take the situation, I go ahead and assess it, I process it, might have to process it with a counselor or a coach or some type of mentor, depending on what the situation is. And then I gather myself and I bounce back. I bounce back based on new information, new thoughts, new ideas, and then how do I play a role in this part? And I'm ready to get back out there. Change resiliency. I can handle it. What does people say? Change is constant. The only thing constant in the world is change. Yeah, but we're always changing. And rapidly, it's going to cause us some mental health issues. So I got to build change resiliency. I got to know in myself what I can handle. And then I got to let my supervisor, my leader, whomever know that. I got to let my husband, my wife, my spouse, my partner, I got to let them know that. That goes down to knowing me. So we got to get to know who we are, what we can handle and not handle, and the stuff that we can't handle to be okay to saying, I can't handle that. I know this is a women's leadership class, and I see that there's men in the group as well, but oftentimes women will take on more because, we feel like we have to prove something. Well, you're not going to prove anything when you're in the mental hospital or the physical hospital or in the grave. I'll be very direct with that. The more you take on, the more stress you take on, the number one disease killer of women is heart disease. Why? Because we take on all that stress. We ain't got to prove nothing. I think COVID told a lot of people we don't have to prove nothing because you can get shut down at any moment. So build that resiliency, but you got to know yourself in order to do that. What can I take? What can I not take? Sometimes you find out you can take something that you didn't know. That happens. You get knocked down for something like, man, I didn't see that coming, but you have enough tools so you can build yourself back up and bounce back up. Implement a communication plan. Leaders, listen to me, leaders. You cannot tell everything you know of what the person above you has shared, right? And you know that. We get that. But your team has got to trust you enough to know that what you can tell them, you will, and it's going to be true, and they will roll with you. When you are a trusted leader, male, female, non-conforming, doesn't matter. If you are a trusted leader, Your communication is going to be so that people know you mean what you say what you mean. And I've already told you, I can only tell you so much. So what I do tell you, you need to roll with that. That is how you implement a communication plan, having trust from the very beginning. So what you do tell, people know it's true and they can rest in that. If they don't have confidence in you as a leader, they're going to be like, yeah, whatever. They just doing whatever they can do to just make us be quiet. I don't believe that. So the implementation of the communication plan comes well before the crises. That comes in the building of the relationship with your team. You got to know your people, but you got to know yourself. What kind of leader are you? Do they trust you? Are you more for the person over you and I'm just trying to get what I need to be up here and do what they need and I'll say whatever I need to say to these people? If that's the case, the change fatigue will be even greater. So you have to know how to develop a communication plan where you can tell people what you need to tell them. They trust you and they believe you, and that helps reduce the anxiety amongst the team. Visualize the future state, telling people this is what it could look like. Visualize it with me. If you're not innovative and futuristic as a leader, get the person on your team who is. So you guys can, you all can work together and they can maybe verbalize that for you to help the team visualize, you know what, this looks like a crisis, but where is the opportunity? This is where we see an opportunity here. How can we get to that point? That's a part of your communication plan too, being able to visualize and see an opportunity for your team. Your team being also what? Your family. Some of our homes, we didn't know what to do. Are we going to have food? Are we going to have toilet paper? I keep going back to the toilet paper. It was crazy. Are we going to have what we need? How do you visualize that to your family? Improve employee engagement. In order to improve employee engagement, you have to know your employees. I have 80 employees. I don't know all of them. You should. I got 5,000 people working for me. You got somebody under you and under them that report to you. They all should know whoever that they manage or that they lead. They should know something about them. They should know their favorite color is green and to send them a big green M&M and say, have a better day than you had yesterday. Any little thing to improve employee engagement is going to help people to bounce back. Again, it's going to help them to know I'm on a team that's supportive and we're going to get through this crisis, turn it into an opportunity. We're going to come out even better. Even better. So whatever tricks you have to do or, you need to come up with to improve employee engagement, that is a tool for overcoming the change fatigue. Reframe the change, right? Reframe the change. What do you mean? Oh my gosh, here we go. Now we got to go do this. Turns into, oh, look at what we get to do tomorrow. We get to blah, 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 blah. That's totally different than I gotta go do. And then how you present the change, reframe it with joy, with gladness, with opportunity in mind. Reframe it again with what this future state could be. And consider emotional resonance. Some people might be saying that they feel something, but they don't look like it. They, I don't really think I can do that. I don't want to get involved. I don't consider that some people just aren't going to be emotionally there, and you have to be the one to help them to build themselves up. And then you want to fix what matters. We can't fix everything all the time, but we can fix what matters. You know how they say you got to stop the bleeding? When you're in a crisis, sometimes you got to just stop the bleeding. You got to say, you know what, you all, right now, they told us to work from home. That's what we're going to do. I need you who have children to contact me so we can create an alternative work schedule for you, because the work still has to be done, but you still have to live your life. But we are being patient here. We are showing empathy and kindness. Contact me directly, and we're going to figure out how we can get this done. Fix what matters. It was the scheduling that had so many people messed up. They couldn't work. I'm going to tell you, my kid went to school. I couldn't do it. I can't. My child is in a Spanish learning school. I do not speak Spanish, nor does anyone else that's an adult in this house. And they wanted us to do this Spanish school so I told him, no, we pay tuition. And since you're doing it different, you're going to do all of it different. And he went to daycare because we had to work. We couldn't even think about that. And on the Fridays and Saturdays, my son's teacher was gracious enough that that's when he did his work. We had to have an alternate schedule, or he just wasn't going to learn. And I wasn't going to let that happen. So there were things that you have to take time when you know a lot of change is coming and your mental health is being affected. Okay, shoot, laser in what matters. Let me fix what matters first. What's most important. Sometimes as leaders, you may have to meet with your other leaders to determine, to streamline. Hey, this team needs this, but this one needs this. Those are the two things that we need to get done. And it helps take some of that stress and pressure off because you're not worried about all these other things. And notice how, yes, change fatigue, corporate world, mental health, me, physical, my family, all of these tools are for both. They're for both. As a leader in your corporation, leader in your home, however you want to call it, you have to be able to have these tools to work to get through some of these things. Okay? We got that. Any questions, Dr. Jenny? I see the chat thing. Or is that just
No,
comment?
just a few people that were thanking you for the session because they needed to step out at the hour. But for everyone who's remaining here, we do have additional time until 11:30 Pacific for more presentation and discussion.
So this is my philosophy, what I live by, and I coined this, so you can quote me if you use it, right? Know thyself and do no harm. I teach implicit bias trainings, unconscious bias. I teach cultural humility. And so over the years of working in the human services field and social work and counseling, those ethics of that, you gotta know your boundaries and know where you might cross and those type of things. And then working with mental health and physical health, it came to me a combination of the ethics of the two. You know, doctors take an oath to do no harm. Social work, it's, know about you first. So know thyself and do no harm. If we can live with this philosophy, this thought process of, I got to know who I am so I'm able to help someone else and not harm someone else. And during this time, change fatigue, mental health crises, all of this is going on. As a leader, were you able to know your boundaries, your breaking points, where you may not have had compassion for someone? Were you able to learn about yourself? Am I for the company or am I for the people? Or how can I combine and be for both? Right? Were you able to understand your patience level with your own children, partners, etc., animals, dogs. I had somebody tell me, Marla, I hate my dog right now. Like she just couldn't take anything. I hate the dog. Get the dog out of here. So understanding who you are. A lot of 2020 brought out who we are. How do we feel about people? What are the first thoughts we have when we see situations? So know thyself and do no harm. Know your triggers. When you're thinking about, okay, this corporation is going to make another turn. We've got to do this. It's going to happen third quarter. I'm not prepared. This really has me triggered. Well, triggered why? Because you don't know what's going on, because you're confused, because know your triggers. Know when you're running down, not when you've run down, not when you're worn out. Know when it's coming. Know when you have those symptoms of disengagement or depressive symptoms like, I just don't feel like it. Yeah, I love golf, but not today. I hate it today. I don't want to do it. The anxiety that I'm kind of like, twirling my fingers and just sitting in this meeting and I just feel the blood rushing to my head and my heart's beating. See, those symptoms are already there. You got to know that. We know what they are now, right? These symptoms. Okay, I need to go get this taken care of because I may be running down. We have to learn to not wait till we're already down. It's good to be resilient. I can get down. Okay, I know I'm going to get back up. But what about if we just stop the getting down? We get a grip on it. We get a hold of it before it happens. Know when to say no. No is a whole sentence. No. And then you can put a period after it. That is correct English. No. And if you can't say no, then you want to talk to someone and understand where that's coming from. Because that is something that has to be processed if you can't say no. Or if you don't know when to say no. Right? And then some people say, well, I can say it. I don't know how. I say other things or I just don't do it. But instead of just saying no, those are all things that you can process with a therapist, possibly a coach, depending on if it's just only in professional environments, whatever it is. But you got to know when to say no. Know your people. That's your staff, your peers, your family. You got to get to know your people. You need to be intentional. We got to know that as a leader, we're not just there to manage. Leaders get engaged. They get involved. Go by and look at the person's desk. Know that they got a pig, a pet pig. Who would have a pet pig? Probably one of your employees and you don't know it. Know that they like chicken noodle soup because it's sitting on their desk all the time. You don't have to just get all in people's business and asking them all types of personal stuff or whatever to know your people. I know the employee who loves purple because it's all over their cubicle and they wear it every day. Well, that doesn't matter. Yes, it does. Because during this season, had they got a little purple note card on their desk and said, hey, we're in this together, we can make it, probably would have made a big deal. Simple stuff. Know your people. Some of us live in a house with our children and we have no clue what their favorite color is. Not at all. Oh, I thought it was green. You never asked me, Mom. You never asked me, Dad. It's purple. Well, why is all this green stuff in here? Because you like green. Know your people. Know how to uplift the team the way they need it and not how you think they need it. In order to do that, that means you have to ask them. Yeah. Because you would like flowers on your desk doesn't mean that you go get your 8 employees flowers and put them all on their desk. They might not like that. Well, everybody likes a kind gesture. No, people like a kind gesture that they like. Does that make sense? Know who you are and know who they are. Be a healthy leader. In order to lead, you have to be healthy. In order to parent, you need to be healthy. In order to do anything you successfully, you need to be healthy. And health, this is not in my slide, but I need you to write it down. Health is the wholeness of both mind and body. And so when we're healthy in our mind and our body, when these changes come, and you all, they're going to come again. They're already starting to come. I just got a thing. I live in the South Bend, Indiana area. Oh, all children in South Bend School District must wear masks the entire time from kindergarten to 12th grade. Well, okay. That will probably change the day school starts when the teacher's chasing around a kindergartner trying to put a mask on them. Do they want to teach or you want to wear a mask? It's all these things. It's happening. So the changes are there. Oh, do you travel? Do you not travel? Hey, I got a vaccine. Oh, well, yeah, you got a vaccine. Now you need a booster. What? Oh my gosh, everything's getting better. All the, people are nicer to each other right now. We're all taking implicit bias trainings. We're understanding. And then I turn on the news and I see, a lady being slapped around on TV and a person of color being shot. It's all on TV. Well, I thought we just took the classes. Didn't we get better? It's changing. Know thyself and do no harm. The more you know about you, the less harm you do to others. The more you know about you, the less offended you are by others. The more you know about you, the more you want to know about others. So in order to tackle this change that could lead to mental health crises, as leaders, we need to know our triggers, know when we're running down, know when to say no, know our people, and know how to uplift our teams the way they want to be uplifted, and we need to be healthy. So that is my last slide. I thank you. I want to answer any questions that may be there. I hope the information was helpful to you all in some kind of way. At least one takeaway positive that you would have for today. So, Jenny, Dr. Walker?
Yeah, so we don't have any questions in the chat itself, but we have an open forum here. So you're welcome to come off your mic if you like to ask any questions.
Thank you, Christina and Tracy. Thank you so much.
Lots of thank yous going into the chat right now.
Takeaway, keep trying to support my team. We are not through this yet. Yes, very good. That is an awesome takeaway. Keep supporting your team and be very intentional about it. Start asking them questions. What do you need? What do you like? What do you want? And just letting them feel that you care. Someone was in my group earlier, I think they're gone, talked about empathy. I don't know what you feel, but I want to. I can, imagine what it would be like. It's very, very important that we become empathetic in these states. Someone asked me about when George Floyd died, and they said, why do you think that particular death caused such the uprising, like global uprising, people all around the world protesting? And I said, because this is a lot of women here, I said, because mothers heard him when he said, I want my mama. That went to the soul. It didn't matter what he looked like. It didn't matter what he did. It didn't matter his past. A mother heard that that could be her son. And so the movement became different because of the empathy. When we have empathy and we reach out and we try to feel what someone else may feel, it changes the narrative. So, talk with your employees and your peers, as leaders, your children, your spouses, whomever's in your home, whoever you relate with, your family dynamics, and just ask them, how they feel, and try to feel that for a minute. It helps you to connect and do a better job with building that resiliency. Anybody, anything else?
That's such a great point, Marla. It sounds like I'm just reading the chat and people are saying they're taking notes, and you've really hit this wonderful chord for people where I think they just needed this reassurance of, how some strategies to move forward, some ideas. I think this idea of self-care, being able to say no comfortably, being able to recognize that this is not a normal kind of environment. And so we need to focus on our self-care more. These are all such helpful points.
Yes. Thank you so much, Dr. Walker. It's okay to contact you. Yes. Tell anybody it's okay to contact me.
Go ahead. Sorry.
The point of what you said about the self-care, we have to know that health is both mind and body, the wholeness of both mind and body. And I really want to reiterate that you have to take care of your mental health.
Thank you, Marla. It's such a treat to have you here again with us. Some of you may have seen Marla last year when we hosted her for a mental health session that we had, and such a timely opportunity to host you here again. So thank you. I will close with just a few reminders for events that are coming up. So you'll see that we have a community chat, which we're very excited about, really continuing with this theme of mental health and caring for ourselves. That's on August 12th from 2 p.m. Pacific. And we will have our host, Taiwana Barnes, and Chris Hundria James, both mentors in the CWL. And then we will also, we are currently accepting submissions for UAGC's Got Talent. So if you would like to share your special talents with the UAGC community, it is open to all of UAGC student, staff, faculty, and alumni. And we also are opening it to all Center for Women's Leadership members. Membership is free and open beyond the UAGC community. So we look forward to your submissions there. You can visit our website at cwl-uagc.org for more information and registration for all of these events. So again, thank you to Marla, and everyone have a wonderful day.